live on the air. I'm Richard Sales.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Sale. 5 weeks are in the books. Can you believe we're almost 1/3 of the season through? And we're just almost about to hit middle of October. College football is getting better. NFL is starting to heat up. And there's a lot to get into today. Recapping a crazy week 5. And we're going to go through week 6. This is the first week. We have byes. We'll mention that when we get to the picks, but we got a lot to get into. But everybody's favorite segment, when we go over recaps, we all know the best segment of each weekly episode. So let's get right back into week 5 with a little recapping with Rich. Starting off with Thursday night, Colts and the Broncos. I know I picked the worst game of the week, the yawn game. Guys, this was one of the worst games I've ever watched in my life. All right? Not even trying to make a joke out of it, but I am going to. But this was so boring. Okay? My dad and I are watching, and I think me and him both decided, you know what? We're not watching the fourth quarter, okay? It was so boring, okay? Both teams really didn't look good. We'll get into Colts and Denver side, but yeah, I turned this game off fourth quarter, and I don't honestly regret not watching overtime and all that. I heard Bronco fans were leaving as overtime began. Now, who have we ever, what fans do we ever know that actually leave during overtime? And this is the first time I think the home team's fans actually left during an overtime game. Never have I ever seen that, okay? I mean, if you lose a coin toss and you know the other team's going to score, you kind of stay in most cases. You mostly stay in those cases. But Bronco fans, your own home stadium fans were leaving when overtime began. They had no confidence you were going to win. That's how laughable this was. Okay? It's basically like, oh yeah, they won the coin toss. And you see the stadium clear. Wait, we just lose the game? That's basically what it looked like. That's basically what it looked like. Man, I have never in my life seen a home stadium fans walk out at the beginning of overtime in a tie game. Oh my God. That's a first. That is a first, okay? I needed to get that out of the way. Let's get to the Colts side of things. We're going to cut right to the chase because nobody cares about this boring game unless you're a Colts or Bronco fan. And forgive me for saying this, but this was a boring game, so I'm going right to it. Matt Ryan didn't look good. Okay, they had Jonathan Taylor out with a high ankle sprain. But the running game with Lindsey and Jackson, they did good. Alec Pierce, the young rookie receiver, 8 catches, 81 yards. He stepped up. That's what they drafted him for. I think they lost T.Y. Hilton either a year or two ago, so now he's stepping in with Michael Pittman. They got a nice punch there at receiver. Mo Alley Cox at tight end. The other tight end they had against the Chiefs that went off, I forgot his name. Forgive me. But the defense, let's be real. Both teams' defenses played good because they basically all gave up field goals, okay? Buckner got 2 sacks, and Ngakoue got a sack and a half. I mean, they had 4 team sacks on the day. 2 interceptions. The one missed opportunity was the interception before half. And Matt Ryan just doesn't look the same since the 2016 MVP season, right? Offensive line gave up 6 sacks allowed. I know they've been going through a turnover on offensive line. That kind of makes sense as to why they've been giving up a lot of sacks for past, 4 games have been going off on this offensive line. They were 4-16 on third down, 0-2 in the red zone, 8 penalties, 2 turnovers. The only good thing about this is you get 10 days off, and you know there's a lot of shit to clean up with, especially off a win. So I guess that's the only good news of that. But when you mostly see that kind of turnovers and miscues, and you see that many, you think you mostly lose. Well, there's a lot of miscues to clean up in a 10-day stretch. But Frank Reich, they got a must-needed win. I thought he was on the hot seat going into last Thursday night. He got a win. Now, Colts, you got the Jags at home, and you got at Titans. Back-to-back division games. You want to salvage the season, this is the start right here. Okay? No excuses. You tied the Texans. You lost to Tennessee and Jacksonville once. This is your opportunity to salvage the season. If Frank Reich does not win these games, he's going to be fired next. We'll talk about Matt Rule when we get to the Panther game and that situation. But Frank Reich, if he doesn't win these 2 games, I think he's done next. Especially if he doesn't beat the Jags and the Titans. Okay? Because they already lost to him once. So, he loses these 2 games, he's fired. Simple as that. I think anybody would agree with that because they were the favorites to win this division, and they have not lived up any bit to those expectations. Okay? Let's get to the Broncos side of things. Wilson looks dreadful. Now, I don't know if it's him or if it's just how bad Nathaniel Hackett has his system or what. Okay? But this offense is just the most boring offense I've ever seen in my life through 5 games. It's just short pass, a shot play down there, or run. It's just so simple and methodical. It's basically like going to IHOP and just saying, yeah, I'm just going to get a plain pancake. No butter, no syrup. That's basically what the Broncos are. Okay, they're just a fucking plain pancake you get at IHOP with no freaking chocolate chips, no maple syrup, no whipped cream, nothing. It's just a freaking flat pancake. That's what the Broncos offense is. It's so like, really? This is what they do? No wonder why your own home fans left you. No wonder why in overtime. But Wilson looks dreadful. I don't know if it's him or Nathaniel Hackett or what, but something is badly wrong with the Broncos. No wonder why people are so sick of seeing them in primetime. I'm one of those people that's just like, you know what? I don't know if I can watch this another primetime game. And they are playing at Monday night at Chargers, which is brutal. And they get an 11-day rest. Okay? Come on. There's no, like, creativity. There's no explosiveness on offense. This is a joke. Okay? The run game did good. Without Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, he did pretty good. Took care of the ball. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, only receivers that stepped up. Let's be 1,000 here. Offensive line gave up 4 sacks. This offensive line does not look very good recently. Bradley Chubb on defense, 2.5 sacks. They did give up 9 points allowed. Browning had a sack and a half. 16 sacks in general. Broncos defense is legit. But their offense, damn, they are horrible. I'm just going to leave it at that. I can't go down this road. Stearns had 2 interceptions for Denver. 4 missed opportunities, guys. And you think about this. This is a 3-point game. Okay? Missed field goal. Interception. Turnover on downs. I got to know one thing. What is it with Russell Wilson throwing in a goal-to-goal situation? He doesn't learn from the Super Bowl when he actually cost them the game that day? Don't give me... you can argue Pete Carroll all you want. At the end of the day, Wilson, he's a third-year guy. He threw the ball, and he threw the interception. Okay, you could blame Darrell Bevel or Pete Carroll all you want for that moment. But at the end of the day, Russell Wilson threw it. And he doesn't learn because he did it the same thing Thursday night. Richard Sherman was going off on Amazon about it. Why don't they run the ball? Melvin Gordon's been doing good for you. This is why I don't know if it's a Russell Wilson problem or Nathaniel Hackett problem. It might equally be both. That's how bad they are, okay? But 4 missed opportunities. You lost by 3 points. The fact that this game was so dreadful just shows you how worse you miss out these missed opportunities look, okay? This is embarrassing, okay? You know what? I'm going to say it right now. You ready for this? I'm a Patriot fan. We're 2-3. We are definitely better than the Broncos. Guarantee. I'm giving you Charles Barkley style. Guarantee we're better than the Broncos. Guarantee. As a Patriot fan, we are better than the Broncos currently through 5 weeks. We are. Anybody that says that we're not is a straight up fool. Okay? Because the eye test tells me my team's better. Okay? Not just I'm biased, but look at Denver. The only thing they may have better than us is a defense. Everything else we have is better than that. Their offense is putrid. Their defense keeps them in the game except for that Raider game. But they are horrible. All right? God. And here's what the worst part is. Not only do the 4 missed opportunities sting so bad, they were 2 of 15 on third down. You were 0 for 4 in the red zone. Okay? You had 7 penalties on the day and 2 turnovers. At some point, is Nathaniel Hackett maybe a 1-year deal as a coach? Is he maybe done after 1 year? Look at how bad they've been through 5 games. How are they 2-3? Oh, let me tell you how. So they beat the Texans off of 1 touchdown drive. And they beat the Niners off of 1 drive. That's how you're 2-3. This team should be 0-5. That's how bad the Broncos have been. And I'm ashamed because I picked them to be a wild card team. Okay? They should be an 0-5 team. They're horrible. Okay? I'm done talking about Denver. I got to go somewhere else with this because I can't. They make me sick watching them. I can't believe they had them on Monday night. I'm only watching because I'd rather watch the Chargers and Justin Herbert on Monday night. That's how fun they're going to be to watch over Denver. That's the only reason I'm watching next Monday night. Damn. They're so putrid to watch. Get them off my TV, please. They're horrible. Giants-Packers. I watched this game. I was a little behind because I was watching something else. Not a show. I was watching Daily Wager on ESPN. My dad and I like to see what they do for the NFL games on Sunday. So I was watching a little bit of that. But I did watch this game right after. You Giant bandwagons are going to come all over me. Not even Giants bandwagons. Giants fans in general are probably coming at me right now. Okay? I had 2 of them. Literally, guys, I have a group chat with people that watch this show. Okay? And they were coming at my neck saying, yeah, Rich, what are you going to say now? 4-1. Where's our respect, Rich? Something like that, okay? First, before I answer that, you can look up in the archives. You can look up past episodes. I did say this. Brian Daboll is an upgrade over Joe Judge. Right or wrong? Okay, I was right. All right? I did say I love the hire of Wink Martindale at defensive coordinator. Did I not love that? Look it up. I did. Okay? I did say I love their draft this past year. Thibodeau and Evan Neal. Okay? These are all good things. So, again, I don't say all the things I say to my friends in the group chat about the Giants. Okay? But the bottom line is, you want to call me out saying, oh, I'm roast? No. Look up the tape. I said you had a great draft this past offseason. I loved your coaching hires with Daboll and Wink Martindale. Stop saying that I'm negative about the Giants. No. I'm fact checking you, okay? Now let me get to the game. Daniel Jones, 21 of 27, 217 yards. Did okay. Nothing special, okay? As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, they'll be fine. I'll love the Dallas game. Running game carried Saquon Barkley and a couple other guys poking some rushing touchdowns. Darius Slayton showed up. I don't know why Kadarius Toney's not in. I don't know where Kenny Golladay is. But Brian Daboll is playing his own guys that he feels gives them the best chance to win. And it's working. They're 4-1, okay? Defense gave up 20. I'm not counting the safety. That was the Giants just giving them 2 points. I'm not counting that against the defense. They gave up 20. They did get 2 sacks. That works. That's how you beat the good teams, okay? You finally beat a good team. Good. Finally, you beat a good team, all right? Now I don't have to joke and say, oh, you didn't play anybody, all right? You finally beat a good team. I didn't think they would win. I know. I picked the Packers, best bet on guaranteed. I guaranteed them to win. But I'm going to get to them in a minute because I'm not happy with them clearly. But this game did not make me happy. 6 of 11 on third down. That's great. 3 of 4 in the red zone. That's great. Clean game and a big win. That's all I got to say about the Giants. Clean game and a big win. All right? Finally, a signature win on their books through 5 games. All right? Let me get to Green Bay. I need to know why you have a 10-point lead and why you come up small again and again and again. And you have a 4-time league MVP in charge of the offense. 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. You throw it 39 times, only complete 25 of them. Not bad from that, but come on. The fourth quarter, what the hell happened? You had a 10-point lead, I think, at one point. What was that? Okay? Aaron Jones was eating. I know they fed him the ball. Okay? Al Lazard caught a touchdown. Okay? Randall Cobb almost had 100 yards. Okay? 7 catches, 99 yards. I want to say he ended up with Mercedes Lewis even got a touchdown. He's mostly a run blocker. But the defense, now they haven't looked good through the last 2 weeks. They let my third-string quarterback put up 24 on them in our running game, and they let the Giants hang 27 on them. And I lauded them after they beat the Bucs because they were a legit good defense. Well, these last 2 weeks, they have not been at all the defense that I thought they were 3 games in. No. Okay? They sold this game. I mean, Rasul Douglas on the 2-yard line. What the hell are you committing a penalty for? You're basically just keeping the drive alive and giving them 2 yards still to go in. What are you doing? All right? Damn. All right? But they had 1 sack on the day on a horrible Giants line. No takeaways. The turnover on downs in the last series was it. And the Giants came after Rodgers both times. I mean, they're supposed to have a great line, and Bakhtiari came back. So what's the problem? Why can they not protect Rodgers on blitzes back-to-back plays? 7 penalties. We know that 1 trip in the red zone hurt, but the Packers do not look good these last 2 weeks, okay? In Tampa, they really had 2 drives in the game early and did shit the rest of the game. So we could argue 3. They don't look good right now. And they play the Jets. I hope you beat them. But right now, you need to really figure shit out. Because you might lose your own division right now to Minnesota. We'll talk about Minnesota in a little bit. Steelers and the Bills. If you're a Steelers fan, I'm not spending time on this. You only scored 3 points. All right. Kenny Pickett, first game starting. Again, Steeler fans, you're going to have highs and lows with him. You have to express patience. Okay? Nobody thought you were going to win this game. I picked Buffalo to win by 18. My friend told me right after we had him on early in the season, Joey. He told me, I don't think we're going to lose by 18. But he lost by 28. So you kind of see why I picked that. All right. But let's go back to Kenny Pickett. He was good, and I like that he was fearless, that, he wasn't afraid to take shots. He wasn't afraid to, extend plays and everything. But, again, you're playing a juggernaut team. And, there's not really a lot of explosiveness on offense. I blame Matt Canada personally. I don't think Matt Canada is that great of an offensive coordinator at all. I've been saying it basically through 5 games. I think, and now Tomlin's talking about he wants to shake up the staff and shit. I have a feeling Canada's probably out soon, okay? I don't think he's good. There's no explosiveness. You have George Pickens. You have Claypool. You have Deontay Johnson. There's nobody that puts the fear in a defense to stretch the field. You're running Najee to the ground, and the Bills know, okay, take away Najee. Let the kid beat us. And they weren't afraid of Pickett beating him. And I seen the cheap shots that Buffalo did on Pickett. I don't blame the Steelers at all for the way they responded, okay? Because the 2 hits, go look it up, they had some two cheap shots on Pickett, okay? That's a little odd on Buffalo because Buffalo's not like that usually. And I never thought they would take a cheap shot twice at a rookie, okay? But that's not a good sign, all right? Running game, like I said, I'm not impressed. Pickens 6 for catches, 80 yards. Okay, Claypool 5 for 50. Deontay 5 for 60. I mean, the defense they didn't help him that much out. 0 sacks, 38 points allowed. The only guy that did something really was Levi Wallace, who had a pick. He knows Buffalo. He just played there, so he got a pick on Josh Allen. Special teams. This is how you know you're setting yourself up to lose right away. 2 muff punts that gave Buffalo 14 points. 2 punts in a row on special teams. That is brutal. And you got 5 missed opportunities on top of that. Now, I know they were up 31-3 at the first half, but 3 turnover rundowns and 2 missed field goals, man. That offense in Pittsburgh is bad, but their defense didn't help out either because Buffalo is the juggernaut on offense, okay? But offensive line gave up 3 sacks, 0 of 3 on 4th down. Not as bad as the Lions. 6 penalties and 2 turnovers. Yeah, Pittsburgh, I hate to say this. It's only getting worse because look at your schedule. Tampa, in Miami, the Eagles. It's brutal. I mean, wow. A 4-game losing streak. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. The Bills. Josh Allen was great. 20 of 31, 424 yards, 4 touchdowns. Had the 1 pick. Running game did good. Gabe Davis, 3 catches, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he's going to have another game against the Chiefs because we all remember him going off in that playoff game against the Chiefs last year. So he's got a major, major confidence going into next game because he just went off against Kansas City in January. And he had a big day against Pittsburgh where he had 2 long bombs for touchdowns. Okay? Stephon Diggs, 8 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. Okay? Shakir, 3 catches, 75 yards and a touchdown. They got him in. Defense obviously held him to 3 points. Got 3 sacks. The rookie Kyer Aleem got an interception. They did have 3 missed opportunities. The missed field goal, the fumble, and the interception. When you blow them out, it doesn't make the scoreboard look that much worse. But when you miss 3 opportunities, and you could have wondered what would have happened if you cashed them all in, it would have made it a lot worse. So I guess that's the only thing that they'll probably look at. They'll need to clean up. 5 and 9 on 3rd down, 2 turnovers. I mean, 1 of 4 in the red zone. They'll clean stuff up going into this Kansas City game. But the Bills, I played out the blueprint for you guys to how to beat them. And I've only seen one team do it so far, Miami. And I've seen one ugly half against the Ravens. Good luck next week. That's a big game against Kansas City. I'm definitely tuning in to watch that game. Chargers and the Browns. Justin Herbert was good, not great. Austin Eckler, 16 carries, 173 yards, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. Josh Kelly even got a rushing touchdown. So the run game was feasting on Cleveland. I told you guys 2 weeks ago, Cleveland's defense is not very good. And I stand by that. Because what's there to really go, oh yeah, they're legit. They can't stop the run. And their pass defense is okay. Only guy really is Myles Garrett that's maybe exciting to watch there. Clowney's in and out of the lineup. He's hurt. Denzel Ward's a good corner. But this defense, and I know all the Browns things I'm following, they're saying this defense is horrible. It is. They're not very good. All right? Mike Williams, 10 catches, 134 yards. They did give up 28 points, the Charger defense. Gilman had an interception, 2 missed opportunities. Brandon Staley, goddamn, man. Keenan Allen tweeted it the best. I don't know if you guys happen to see it, but Keenan Allen tweeted, "What the fuck are we doing? You're up 2 points. Why are you going for it back up at your own 40-something yard line? Are you trying to lose the game, Brandon Staley? Punt the ball, make him go the long way. You make him have to waste time with no timeouts. No. Instead, I talked about it last week. Analytics are ruining the game. Okay? The simplicity of this game is going away bad, in a bad way. I don't know what part of it nobody understands. Just punt the ball and make them go the long way. They got to waste time. They got no timeouts. Why would you give it to them on a short field? And his answer was, "Oh, I was confident in the way our defense was playing." Well, what if you gave up the field goal? Would you still say that then? Because that was horrible. Everybody was going off on him. They're lucky they won that game. But it cost them the Raider game last year. It cost him a lot of other ones too. He's not learning. This is not a good sign. All right? But, man, 3 of 10 on third down, not very good. 2 of 5 in the red zone against Cleveland. I'm not backing off the Chargers making the playoffs. I stand by it. But I don't like what I'm seeing. All right? I thought they would improve this so far through 5 games. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not going to lie to you. Jacoby Brissett. Let's get to the Brown side. Didn't do amazing. We'll talk about his red zone interception in a little bit. Nick Chubb, my preseason pick to win Offensive Player of the Year. Go back and watch the tape. 17 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a man on a mission right now. I think he might lead the league in rushing. Okay? Browns have a great offensive line. Run first. We're seeing it through 5 games. They are going to run the ball at you. Okay? Kareem Hunt even got going with a rushing touchdown himself. Amari Cooper, 7 catches, 76 yards and a touchdown. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 4 catches, 50 yards. And Njoku, 6 for 88 yards. Defense, I just said it a while ago. They are not very good. Okay? The only game that maybe they look good is against Atlanta and Pittsburgh. But Atlanta and Pittsburgh are not very good on offense. They let the Jets put up 30 and choked 14 points in less than 2 minutes. They let Carolina put up 24. They only maybe hit that number once in the last 4 games. Okay? And Carolina just fired Matt Rule. All right? They had 1 sack, the Cleveland defense. 0 takeaways. 4 missed opportunities. Another coach, Kevin Stefanski, loves going for it apparently a lot. 2 missed field goals, the turnover on downs, and the interception in the red zone. Jacoby Brissett threw a horrible interception, and you can't do that against teams that you're not supposed to beat. That's a recipe to lose. You lost by 2. You don't throw that pick, you win the game. Because you kick a field goal. It would have been 4th down after. I mean, Jacoby's a good quarterback, but he's not going to be wow factor. He's a good game manager, okay? But that is an absolute big mistake on his part, okay? They had the 1 turnover. I mentioned it. 6 penalties. The Cleveland Browns are good, but they're not great. Okay, like they were a couple seasons ago. All right. Bears and the Vikings. Justin Fields was okay. Running game was eh. Receivers, someone's got to step up. Now, I know N'Keal Harry's coming back off IR. I did hear that. But this Somebody's got to step up on this receiving core. Somebody has to step up. If not, at least the Bears know what they need going into this draft. I would assume. Unless this regime is worse than the Nagy, Ryan Pace regime. I don't know that, though. But 29 points allowed. The defense gave up 1 sack. Velder had the interception. The fumble late in the game, that cost them. That was basically the icing on the cake. 6 penalties. I mean, Chicago Bears are 2-3. They're competitive 2-3, but this team's going to be a top 10 draft pick. It's just waiting to happen. Just wait. Let's get to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins was good. 32 of 41, 296 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a rushing touchdown. Dalvin Cook finally was eating. 18 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay? Justin Jefferson almost killed my fantasy game. 12 catches, 154 yards. Him and Leonard Fournette, I'll mention about Leonard Fournette's stat line. They gave me a scare in fantasy, but I was lucky to win because I had a whole lot of nice matchups that I had, but these two scared me. They combined for like 60-something points. 65, I want to say. Maybe 66. Around there. But it was... I had to sweat that, okay? Defense was okay. They gave up 22 points, 2 sacks. The one takeaway at the end of the game. But, when you go 12 of 15 on third down, that's great. You'll win a lot of games if you do that, especially if you could score the way they can. 7 penalties, though, they'll clean that up. But the Vikings are 4-1. All right, 4-1. As long as they're not on prime time, same with Kirk Cousins, they'll be fine. That's why all 4 wins, they've basically been day games. And, yeah, as long as Kirk Cousins isn't on prime time, they'll be fine. And I don't think they're on prime time next week. So, Minnesota's looking really good right now. All right, I did pick them to make a wild card. But right now, they look much better than Green Bay through 5 weeks, okay? Lions and my Patriots. Let's get to the Lions side of things first before I get to my Patriots, okay? Jared Goff, I said it. If we make Jared Goff get pressured and we force him into mistakes, he's not very good. That's exactly what happened, okay? Running game 8, but it wasn't like 100-yard rusher, none of that. They just, they had 50 yards. A couple of running backs had, some had 40. But they really didn't, break the game with any big runs. It was, chunk change runs. Okay? But when you get shut out, they're basically meaningless. Okay? Both Reynolds receivers showed up. The defense, they're not very good either. 29 points allowed. Elliott had the interception. 7 missed opportunities, and 95% of them were on 4th down. Okay? I want to shout out somebody real quick. Shout out to my buddy Kyle. He's told me he's a Vikings fan. He told me, Rich, I've never seen a coach go for it as many times on 4th down as I've seen Dan Campbell. And I was like, wow. Because I thought Brandon Staley would go for it more. Kyle, you were 100% right. I've never seen Campbell go for it 6 times on 4th down. And what's crazy was they didn't get any of them. So shout out to Kyle right there. All right. That was very valuable info to know, just to be surprised. But again, it's a shutout. They're probably going to go for it 6 times. 4-12 on 3rd down. 0-3 in the red zone. 7 penalties. 2 turnovers. And as Dan Campbell said in the press conference, that's rock bottom as it gets. This game basically says it all. Okay? Now let's get to my Patriots. I am not throwing a parade. No way. The Lions, we should have beat. Now, if you remember that clip of the NFL nerd Adam Schein, he said the Lions were not a gimme game when giving his preseason picks about the Patriots. You remember that clip for those that watched it. Well, I think that was a gimme. Okay? But it wouldn't have been a gimme with a 3rd stringer. I'll probably give those that. But in my mind, it was a game that we, those would get me on the schedule. But you know what? He's wrong as usual. Okay? But I'm not throwing a parade. It was a team we were supposed to beat. It was impressive holding the number 1 scoring offense to a shutout. I'll give you that. But crawl before we walk. We got to learn how to beat the not-so-good teams before we play the big boys. Crawl before we walk, as Stephen A. says about the Knicks, okay? But not throwing a parade. We're 2-3. We're still behind the Jets and the Dolphins, who got their own. Well, Miami's got their own issues with quarterbacks, and the Jets beat them. So I'm not throwing any parades, okay? But I'm happy we got a win. But Bailey Zappi did his job. I won't blame the turnover on him. That's on Nelson Aguilar, which I'm going to get to in a moment. Ramondre Stevenson stepping up for injured Damian Harris, 25 carries, 161 yards. Good shit. Now it's time for you to step up and take the bell cow role. I have confidence in him. He's been playing good for us the last couple of weeks, last 3 weeks mainly. But hopefully Damian Harris can get back soon. Mac Jones is supposed to come back, so this is a good sign. Jacoby Myers stepping up, 7 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Matt Judon, 2 sacks. Okay, finally a game where he got more than a sack. He's the guy with the red sleeves. You'll see him on tape. He flashes, okay? Maybe he doesn't get like 3-4 sacks, but he makes plays where he's close to the quarterback. I saw a couple against Green Bay. You guys will see him on film if you really, really pay attention. But he's a good player. 2 sacks. Finally had a big game. Kyle Duggar, who I said in the Miami game had a big game. He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Okay. Jack Jones, the rookie, had another interception. All right. Building off the one he had against the Packers last Sunday. All right. Defense puts a shutout. It was great. Okay. We kept the quarterback clean. Right. This was good. 3-9 though on third down. I'd like to see that a little bit better. I'd like to see us be better in the red zone. 0 for 4 could be better. 6 penalties could get cleaned up. Nelson Aguilar, I'm done with him. He had 1 big catch against the Steelers, which was clutch, I'm not going to lie, because it essentially gave us a 7-point lead at half, and, it was the play that kind of broke the game open that week. But the turnover against Miami, the turnover against the Ravens, and now you drop a ball and it bounces into the Lion defender's hands. I am done with Nelson Aguilar. I am done. Okay? Please. Tyquan Thornton's back. I'm done with Aguilar. Please. He's just a turnover machine. I'm just done with him. I'm done. If anybody's going to get less playing time, it better be him. I don't know why Kendrick Bourne doesn't show up more than him, but Kendrick Bourne should be getting more playing time over Aguilar. Aguilar just turns the ball every time I watch him, okay? Seahawks and the Saints. Geno Smith was good, 16-25, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns. Okay, but there were a lot of sacks he took. Mainly the one late in the game against with Cam Jordan that made him punt, and then their defense couldn't stop him. Kenneth Walker, 8 carries, 88 yards and a touchdown. He's going to step up now because Rashad Penny is out for the season, unfortunately. Tyler Lockett, 5 catches, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf had a receiving touchdown, 5 catches for 88 yards. Offensive line, 3 sacks allowed on Geno Smith. I talked about the one late in the game with Cam Jordan. Geno, you got to get rid of that ball. It's a close game. You're down 7. You can't take a sack in that situation. All right? But what do I tell you about Geno? He has a really great game, and then he falls back to earth. All right? He's streaky. You can't trust him all the way through. All right? Defense was horrible. 39 points allowed. Tariq Woolen did have the pick. They had the 1 sack. Pete Carroll. He's a great coach. I know he is. Why in the hell are you trying a fake punt backed up at your own 20-something yard line? Why? Why? You're down anyway. Okay? You basically gave him a free 7 points on the board. What was that? That essentially was the difference in the game. I mean, you basically gave the Saints a free 7 with that fake punt. What was that? 1 of 9 on third down. Horrible. 0 of 1 in the red zone. That'll bite you in the ass. 12 penalties and a turnover. They're too up and down for me. And I know somebody picked them to go to the playoffs over one of their teams in the division. The clip's on YouTube if you want to know. All right? He knows who he is. All right? But This is why I don't trust Seattle. This is exactly why I don't trust them. They give up a lot of points. Geno's too inconsistent. And I think that although the Rams got their own issues and Arizona's not that very good, the three other divisions, somebody's coming out as a wild card in most likely all three of those other divisions. But there's no way Seattle makes it to the wild card. No way. All right? Let's go to the Saints. Andy Dalton, okay, he's basically a game manager. Just don't mess the game up. Taysom Hill did everything, basically. 22-yard passing touchdown, 9 carries, 112 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Alvin Kamara finally had a monster game. Clutch for me in fantasy. 23 carries, 103 yards, 6 catches for 91 yards. That's the Alvin Kamara we know and love him to be, okay? That was a big game for him. Finally, he showed up, all right? He came back off injury. I'm glad. Finally, he had a big game. They finally got him involved in the offense. Good. Chris Olave, Adam Troutman had a touchdown each. Defense got 3 sacks allowed, but they gave up 32 points to the Seahawks, okay? Now, this defense in New Orleans the last 3 weeks does not look like the defense that I expected to see this season. Minnesota, Carolina, and Seattle all put up 25-plus points on you. 26, 28, and 32 now. I don't like what I'm seeing lately from the Saints defense. I don't. And Dennis Allen's supposed to be a great defensive coordinator. Now he's the head coach. Something has got to be figured out there. Why they're giving up more points in the last 3 games than they did. Oh, and they gave up 26 or 24 to Atlanta. The only great game they had was Tampa. Do they just get up to play Tampa? That's it? Everybody else are like, oh, we got it. Yet they're still getting on 20-plus points. 8 of 13 on third down. 8 of 14, excuse me. That's great. They had the one. I know they had the one fumble too. That was a turnover, right? 6 penalties, 2 turnovers. They need to clean some stuff up, all right? And I think that they got a tough one against Cincinnati. That's going to need to be a game where you got to be flawless because Joe Burrow and them are coming off a loss, which we'll get into in a little bit. Dolphins and the Jets. So Teddy Bridgewater gets hurt, and now the third quarterback, Skylar Thompson, comes in. And I remember all the Dolphins fans saying, oh, we got our Brady, see you guys, in preseason. Really? Skylar Thompson? And you can't beat the Jets with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Cedric Wilson and you can't beat the Jets? And this is supposed to be the next Brady? Dolphin fans? Stop. All right? He was not good, okay? Raheem Mostert, he was good. 18 carries, 113 yards, and a touchdown, okay? Smith had a rushing touchdown. Smythe, forgive me for butchering your name. Receivers, they did not step up at all, all right? The defense gave up 40 points. They had, I want to say it was 0 sacks, right? And the missed opportunities, again, the Dolphins, interception, missed field goal, and 2 turnover on downs. Maybe this is what happens when we have a third-string quarterback, and you get behind early, and when you turn the ball over, that gives the Jets points. But shot themselves in the foot again. All right? 4 of 11 on third down, not great. 11 penalties, 102 yards. Okay, 2 turnovers. Miami looks sloppy the last 2 weeks. Had they fallen back down to earth? Maybe. And it's because of probably their quarterback situation, but not a great sign at all. Let's go to the Jets. Zach Wilson, he had a rushing touchdown, okay? Running game carried him, okay? Michael Carter, 2 rushing touchdowns. Breece Hall had a rushing touchdown, 18 carries, 97 yards, 2 catches for 100 receiving yards also. Defense had 2 sacks. 16 quarterback hits. 2 sacks. I don't know if I've ever seen a stat line with 2 sacks and 16 quarterback hits. 16. When I think of 16 quarterback hits, you probably have to have like 8 or 9 sacks. But to have 2 and get 16 hits on the quarterback, ouch. That's a huge, difference. Okay? Sauce Gardner had a pick. Quinn Williams had a fumble recovery. They gave up 17 points allowed to defense. 5 penalties, 106 yards. They got some cleaning up to do, but I can't believe the Jets are sitting at second place in the AFC East ahead of Miami. And we're last. But hopefully that changes for the good for my Patriots. Falcons and Bucks. Marcus Mariota, he does all right. Running game, it's hard without Cordell Patterson. They just did all right. But Tampa's got a stout run defense. Zacchaeus had a receiving touchdown. Defense gave up 21. That works if your offense can score, but they couldn't score this game. 0 sacks. Offensive line gave up 5 allowed. Wow. That was a beatdown that Mariota had to deal with. They had the missed field goal. They had 6 penalties. Now, everybody's going to be talking about the Grady Jarrett call as to why the Falcons got robbed. I watched the hit after the late games, and I saw the clip. And to be honest, that was not a roughing the passer call. But let's be 1,000% real here. You know Brady's going to get the calls. He's 45. He's won 7 championships. You know the great quarterbacks are going to get the calls. So, are we surprised by this? Maybe of how bad it was? Yes. But are we surprised that this happens? No. And listen, I'm the biggest Brady fan you guys probably know. All right? Depending on, who you know. But that was a bad call. I'm not going to lie. All right? That was a clean sack. I'll talk about the one that happened Monday night with Chris Jones. I watched that game live. That was funny how the Arrowhead fans were booing, but Grady Jarrett, that was a clean sack. I didn't see anything wrong with it at all. I didn't. Jerome Boger's a horrible ref, but apparently with Brady and Tampa, they, get a lot of points with him and stuff like that. I was reading, but that was a bad call on Grady Jarrett. And I'm not saying the Falcons would have won. I know some people believe that, but I don't think they would have won Atlanta. But I think it would have been an exciting finish. But who knows? Let's get to the Bucs side of things. Brady, 35 of 52, 356 yards and a touchdown. Didn't turn it over. All right? Tom's been in this game a long time. He knows what he has to do. All right? Doesn't turn over. He plays well. He makes plays. He'll be fine. Leonard Fournette, 14 carries, 56 yards, 10 catches, 83 yards, a rushing and receiving touchdown. Yeah, he put up 36 fantasy points. All right? I had a scare between him and Justin Jefferson, okay? But I was able to win by 50 points because of other guys on my team I had. But it was a scare early. Defense, 5 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, 15 points allowed, 0 takeaways. Tampa did have the 1 turnover and downs. I think it was 4th and 1 early in the game. That's the one missed opportunity they left on the board that, would have made it a 9-point game. And maybe this conversation isn't that big of a deal, but because that missed opportunity they missed out on, that's why I guess the call overlooks that. But Tampa defense got back to what they were the last 3 games, okay? 9 of 16 on 3rd down is great. 2 of 5 in the red zone could be better. 6 penalties, they'll clean that up. But Tampa, this was the perfect get-back game to kind of clean things up the last 2 weeks. Titans and Commanders. Tannehill was okay. Henry, 28 carries, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. This offensive line, it's not very good. Okay? 5 sacks they allowed. This is without Chase Young. Okay? Montez Sweat had a day. Okay? But this offensive line, they're a run-blocking line. They are terrible in pass protection. Okay? You put a good front four against them, they crumble. They crumble. They're a run-first team. They can't pass protect. It goes back to what happened last year when Arizona played them. I'm not going down that list, but those people that know, they can't pass block. Okay? Their defense won them the game. David Long Jr. interception. They got 3 sacks as a team. Held Washington to 17. That works. 4-14 on third down. That's not great. 8 penalties they'll clean up, but not that impressive on the Titans. Not that impressed. Okay? Carson Wentz, he was okay for the most part. 25 of 38, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns. We'll get to the pick in a little bit later. Running game was a no-show. I don't know where it was. Brown, 2 catches, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Stepped up for them with Jahan Dotson out. Defense gave up 21. They got 5 sacks, 13 quarterback hits. The problem is their offense is putrid. Okay? They can't protect Wentz. They don't have a running game. And they can't score. Now, it's easy to say with Jahan Dotson out. Terry McLaurin's a great receiver. But Washington just simply can't protect, run the football, and score. But their defense, their offense isn't helping them out. Okay? The turnover on downs, Riverboat Gambler Ron, it didn't work. Okay? The interception in the red zone, Carson Wentz, I know they were down 4. They had to make something happen, but that was, again, this is what Wentz is. He's a turnover machine waiting to happen. Okay? 1 of 11 on third down, awful. Okay? 0-1 in the red zone, 9 penalties with 1 turnover. Washington just be happy with a top 5, top 10 draft pick. Because that's where you guys are headed. And Ron Rivera, I don't know if he's going to be fired at the end of the season, but Washington, since the playoffs they were in 2 years ago, they have been trending downward. And I don't think Ron Rivera will get fired this year, but if Washington continues to play poorly, maybe there's a chance. And Ron Rivera is a good coach, but Washington has a lot of problems through 5 games. Texans Jaguars. Dameon Pierce won them this game. Don't give me Davis Mills. He didn't play that great. Dameon Pierce, 26 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Clutched me out in fantasy. Thank you very much for putting up 20 fantasy points for me. Nico Collins, 4 catches, 65 yards. Defense was great too. 6 points allowed, 2 interceptions, but they didn't have a pass rush. And that's odd considering you hold the team to 6 points. You'd think they would get at least a sack, 2, maybe 3. But they didn't have any pass rush, yet held the team to 6 points. It's kind of shocking, okay? That's really all I'm going to say about the Texans. This was a low-scoring game. There's not really a lot there. Trevor Lawrence didn't play well. Running game stepped up. ETN, James Robinson, okay? Evan Ingram, 6 catches for 69 yards. Marvin Jones, 7 catches for 104. Defense held them to 13. It works, but their offense could not score. Defense did get 1 sack. The missed opportunities again. 3 turnover on downs, an interception late in the game, 0 of 3 on 4th down, 0 of 3 in the red zone, 2 turnovers, and 6 penalties. Ugly game for Jacksonville. Ugly game. And this is back-to-back games at home. And you got a big game with the Colts coming up. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. All right? Niners and Panthers. Another game that was basically one-sided. Jimmy Garoppolo was good. Jeff Wilson did the heavy lifting. 17 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown. Tevin Coleman. I remember him on the Falcons last. He went to the Jets for a stint. I think he was on the Niners for a little bit before he came back. I'm not sure about that. Had a rushing and receiving touchdown. Deebo Samuel had a receiving touchdown. Defense is the bigger story. They're the best defense in the league right now. 6 sacks, 15 points allowed. Emmanuel Mosley had an interception. I think he got hurt later in the game, and I don't know if he's out for the season. I thought I heard he was, but that sucks because he had played very well up until the injury. They had the block field goal on special teams, the Niners. That's concerning, okay? That was the one missed opportunity. They had it against Seattle, too. I don't know what's going on with their special teams, but Kyle Shanahan clearly watched Green Bay's special teams unravel. Something to keep an eye on as we talk about the Niners later in the season, okay? Special teams don't look good at all. 7-12 on third down, that's great. 9 penalties can be cleaned up, but Niners defense, best in the league. That's what we know through 5 games. Speaking of the Panthers, Baker Mayfield was awful. Christian McCaffrey had a rushing touchdown. Offensive line couldn't protect him. 6 sacks allowed. Defense gave up 31 points. They did get 2 sacks and 3 fumble recoveries. 3 missed opportunities. 2 turnover on downs and a missed field goal. 3 of 15 on third down. 1 of 3 in the red zone. They're done. They're done. I mean, this is a team that Matt Rule lost the locker room supposedly week 2, week 3, I heard. And now he's fired Monday. Okay? This looks like a team that's done. All right? I almost want to not talk about them the rest of the season. And that's my rule when you're out of the playoffs in lounge time. When you're out of the playoffs, we don't talk about you anymore. Okay? And I feel like this might be the earliest I ever have to do it with a team. This team is done. Okay? They're going to be the worst team. Get ready for that number 1 pick, whether it's C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or Will Levis. But if I'm a Panthers fan, start looking for a quarterback. And be ready for the first pick, because that's where I think you guys are headed. Cowboys and the Rams. Cooper Rush managed the game like he was supposed to, okay? Running game did good. Zeke, Tony Pollard, 57-yard rushing touchdown for Tony Pollard, one of the big plays Dallas had on the day. Offensive line was a little shaky, 3 sacks allowed. Tyler Smith, the rookie out of Tulsa, got left alone with Aaron Donald twice on the edge, and Aaron Donald had his way. But the defense has been outstanding. Definitely a top 5 unit in the league. 10 points allowed, 5 sacks, 11 quarterback hits. Micah Parsons is in a 4-way tie for the most sacks in the league. It's Matt Judon, Parsons, Nick Bosa from the Niners, and Max Crosby. A 4-way tie with 6 sacks in 5 games. That's crazy. All right. I know Dominique Foxworth said he was MVP on First Take today, but I don't know about that just yet. But, hey, he's off to a great start. Maybe he is, but I wouldn't go that far just yet. Okay? I think he's a little delusional for that. I don't care what he says either. But the defense, Malik Hooker had an interception. DeMarcus Lawrence had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Special teams had the block punt early in the game. 0-2 in the red zone. I think they ended up with, 5 or 6 penalties. But for the most part, it was a clean game. They didn't turn it over. They're way under the 10 penalties they've been averaging, last season and a little bit in the preseason. Dallas, I said it last week. Just don't commit a lot of penalties. Play a clean game. Look at these last 2 games. This is your formula to win. Trust the defense. Run the football. And don't hurt yourself with penalties and turnovers. Clean game the past 2 weeks. I said build on it. Keep building on this. Speaking of the Rams. Matt Stafford was okay. All right, the running game was a no-show. I feel like McVay abandoned the run because he's a pass-happy coach. Offensive line, 5 sacks allowed. They have not been able to protect Stafford. Look at the Monday night with the Niners game. Look at this game. And even go back to the Bills game. They couldn't protect him either. Cooper Kupp, 7 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. The one-man band receiving crew. Defense gave up 22. 3 sacks they got as a team. Aaron Donald twice on the edge. he got 2 sacks. I was impressed because when you think of Aaron Donald, he's a defensive tackle inside. No, he got both of his sacks on the edge. I mean, he's becoming one of the most complete defensive players ever in the National Football League. All right? 0 takeaways the Rams defense didn't get. 3 missed opportunities, a missed field goal, a fumble, and an interception. The Rams just keep shooting themselves in the foot. All right? 0-2 in the red zone and 3 turnovers. This team looks like a sloppy, messy team through 5 weeks. I mean, they almost blew the Atlanta game. But other than that, they don't look any bit like an NFC favorite through 5 weeks. And that's a bad sign if you're a Rams fan. Eagles and Cardinals. Jalen Hurts was good. 2 rushing touchdowns. Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith stepped up, while A.J. Brown mostly got double-teamed, I'm guessing. Defense gave up 17 points allowed. They're stacked on that side of the ball. All right? C.J. Gardner-Johnson had a pick. They had 1 sack as a defense. They were 2-4 in the red zone. They could have been better. Okay? But the Eagles still remain 5-0, and big game Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. Arizona, Kyler Murray was just okay. Benjamin had a rushing touchdown. Hollywood Brown, 8 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. Now DeAndre Hopkins comes back. Oh, no. Week 7 he comes back. Sorry. Apologize about that. Defense gave up 20. This Arizona offense has not stepped it up through 5 weeks. 2 sacks they got. They had the missed field goal that eventually hurt them and cost another chance at overtime for them. 8 of 14 on 3rd down is great if you can score, but they can't. All right, 1 of 2 in the red zone. That 1 red zone opportunity hurts you, and that's not good. All right, cost you this game, Kingsbury. And I don't think Arizona's that good either. All right, I don't. I think that the NFC West, right now, it's the Niners division to lose. Because the Niners got the Rams one more time. I want to say it's like week 7 or week 8. Right? It's before their bye. But right now, it's a one-man show in the NFC West. And if the Niners are able to beat the Rams again, I think that division would be an early lock. But I'm not going to say it yet. But I think that it's heading towards one division being an early lock through 5 weeks. But it's early, but it's heading that way. Bengals and the Ravens. Joe Burrow was okay. The interception, that was a big turnover because it put points on the board for the Ravens. Running game was okay. Hayden Hurst, 6 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. All right. Now, if you had him in fantasy, that was a great pickup for you guys because if you're in deep fantasy leagues, that was a clutch pickup. All right. He was like my 3rd tight end to choose from because Kyle Pitts was out last game. Then I picked up Logan Thomas thinking he'd play. He's out. So I was like, all right, give me Hayden Hurst because he's the best guy available. And I had no idea he would go off and give me about 17 fantasy points. I'll take it because I won my match. But clutch game for him in fantasy. But big game for him. Defense. Got 1 sack, 19 points allowed. Von Bell had another interception. He's been playing lights out the last 2 games. But the Bengals offense, I got to know something right now. Zach Taylor, you got roasted in the Super Bowl for how bad you called that game. Why would you not kick a field goal when clearly they have the best kicker in the league, maybe all time, on the other side? And that's going to bite you again because you lost by 2. That was the difference in the game right there. You got to take points on the board when you get them. It's like coaches are leaving points on the board. I don't get these analytics. I don't. I've said it already. They're ruining the game. And I understand it was 2 yards out, but take the 3. Okay? already in a close game as it is. You don't want to leave points on the board. And it ended up being a close game and you lose by 2. If you kick that field goal, you pull off a road upset in Baltimore and you win. Shame, shame, shame. 2 of 3 in the red zone. That possession killed you. And the 1 turnover. Burrow led, through a pick, and it led to Ravens points. A game of left behind opportunities for the Bengals. That's what the takeaway was. Let's go to the Ravens. Lamar was okay. The running game really ate. And if you really watch the Ravens, there's 2 big receivers you got to watch out for. Okay? Duvernay, who had 5 catches for 54 yards. Rashad Bateman, I heard, is hurt. But then I don't understand this. I need somebody to explain to me, why do defensive coordinators not double Mark Andrews? I don't understand. All the guy does is run in-breaking routes. He runs crossing routes. He runs posts. He runs all the in-breaking routes in the book, and you can't double him. I don't understand why nobody doubles this guy. I don't understand it. I mean, they clearly, I don't know if people watch film anymore, but it's all he runs. He doesn't run any out-breaking patterns. He runs all in-breaking patterns. And there's no double coverage on him through 5 games. I mean, I don't get it. Maybe it's me, but I know when I watch Ravens games, Mark Andrews is always doing the same things. In-breaking routes, and nobody double teams him. He catches a lot of passes and gets in the end zone, and I don't get why nobody doubles him. I'm convinced nobody watches film no more. I am. All right, the defense won huge part to win the game. 17 points allowed. They did get 3 sacks on Joe Burrow. Patrick Queen had the pick, right? They had an interception Lamar threw, and the turnover on downs, big missed opportunities. The 1 of 3 in the red zone, they'll clean up. 6 penalties, the 1 turnover. All I can say is this for the Ravens. You could just be thankful you have Justin Tucker on your team. That's it. All right? Just be thankful you have Justin Tucker on your team. That's it. Vegas Raiders and the Chiefs. Derek Carr played good. Didn't turn it over. Took some shots downfield to his buddy Devontae Adams. All right? He played good. It's just Josh McDaniels had some questionable play calls. I'll get into one later in the game. Josh Jacobs ran the ball in 21 for 154 and a touchdown. He had a day. All right? Devontae Adams, 3 catches, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. And now he might be suspended coming off their bye week. All right? The defense, though, first half, they held the Chiefs to 10 points. And then the second half, they just collapsed. I mean, they did get 3 sacks. Really, Max Crosby had 2 of them and Perriman had the other. But they gave up 30 points allowed. What did I say to you guys in the beginning of the year when I talked about the Raiders? Their secondary's weak, but they have a good front 4. Okay? But it's not a great front 4. Their secondary is vulnerable, and you could pass on them. Kansas City threw on them. And McKinnon had a couple nice runs. But the Raiders' defense is not very good. Denver put up 23, the highest points they've had this season. Because the Raiders' pass defense is not very good. I said they were my last wild card because they're going to be in a ton of 40 to 30-something games. Okay, 30 to 28, some type of games like that. Because they can't stop anybody. Okay? And this was the perfect example on Monday night. I mean, they got no takeaways because they can't create turnovers. The late clock management. Josh McDaniels comes from my staff, the New England staff. Great offensive mind. Not taking that away from him. 4th and 1, though, I got a problem with this. You only need a field goal, and you throw a deep bomb where 2 guys just bump into each other. Renfro and Adams collide, and they fall down like bowling pins. I mean, 4th and 1. That's your best play. 4th and 1, that's your best play. To keep the drive alive, and just, all you need is a field goal. Keep in mind, all you need is a field goal. That's your best play to win? That's your best play. That's a head scratcher right there. I mean, golden missed opportunity to save your season and go beat the Chiefs and stay alive for the division. Instead, you deal with the typical Raiders always do. Just questionable clock management at the last drive of the game. I don't get it. I don't get just a blown opportunity to go pull the upset of the week. Instead, we're talking about Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes played great. All right. McKinnon had some nice big runs in there. Okay, he did well. Valdez-Scantling showed up. Hardman showed up finally. He had his coming out party. All right, with big plays. Travis Kelce really, the Raiders defense had no answer for him. I don't know really if anybody has an answer for Travis Kelce. The way Andy Reid had sets him up. 4 touchdowns. I think he had, 26 yards or 28 yards? That's the fewest yards I think somebody had with 4 touchdowns ever in NFL history. Is that true? I think it is. But wow, they could not cover Kelce in the red zone. They could not cover him. And it's crazy because you think when Tyreek's gone, the double coverage goes in. Again, I don't know if anybody watches film anymore. I don't know if you can double Kelce. Every time he plays zone, he sits right in the middle of it. I am convinced nobody watches film anymore. I am. Okay? 29 points allowed. I don't think that defense is very good. Okay? The 0 takeaways. They don't get a lot of takeaways on defense. I mean, if they do, it's because of blitzes. Okay? The missed field goal because Bucker's out. And one thing with both teams. The one where the Chiefs try to go for 2, I don't get that. Because why would you go for 2 when if you kick a field goal, you have to make them go get a 2 anyway? You have to make them still get a touchdown too. Why would you not kick the field goal and make it 8? Why? And then on top of that, the Raiders answer back with a touchdown and they go for 2. Why? Your defense got to stop the next series. Okay? And this goes back to the simplicity of the game. It's just gone apparently from everybody. Kick the field goal and tie it up at 30 and you get 1 drive. You practice 2-minute drills and walkthroughs. I know this because every football thing I've been to, they practice 2-minute drills and walkthroughs. You're telling me that you have no confidence in your defense to get any stops, and you're telling me you can't put together a great 2-minute drive you practice every single week leading up to every game. Simplicity of the game is gone, I guess. I don't like it. I don't. And it's probably the old school way of football thinking, but I don't like it. This is apparently what the new school analytics generation likes. I despise it big time, okay? Simplicity of the game is gone, and I don't like it. All right? All right, so those are the Week 5 recap and Rich. Now let's move on to Week 6. And if you have a bye week this week, I think the Texans and the Raiders I know have a bye week. I don't remember every team that has a bye week, but if your team's on a bye week, enjoy it. All right? But for those of you who don't have a bye, let's get right into the games. Commanders and Bears on Thursday night tomorrow. Oh, God, why? I mean, you give us a shit Thursday night game on top of the last one, which was god-awful. Really? Oh. But you know what? We got to pick a winner anyway, right? All right, I'll take a chance. Let's go. Give me the Commanders. 17-14. I think that I trust Washington's front four to get after Justin Fields. I think that if Jahan Dotson's back, I think that they have the better receivers. I think that, Wentz is a little better than Justin Fields, and I think that the Commanders need a win, and let's go with them over the Bears. I think they win in Chicago. I think they win. I think they're home too. So give me Washington 17-14. Niners and Falcons. Now, I've lauded about how Falcons have been in every game this year, okay? But the Niners defense against that offense, I don't know if I trust Mariota against that Niners defense. They blitz you with 4. Well, they can blitz with more than 4, but they have a traditional 4-man rush. The way the Niners are running the football on him, right? Deebo Samuel, Ayuk has been stepping up for them really good. Kittle will bounce back after his last game. No, I can't take Atlanta. I got to go the 49ers 27-13 over the Falcons. Patriots and the Cleveland Browns. All right. I'm going to assume this. There's a chance Mac Jones plays, but I'm going to assume this game Zappy's going back. All right? I've told you all year long, well, not all year long, but so far this season, Cleveland's defense has not been great. All right? If we're going to win this game, my Patriots, you have to stop the run. Nick Chubb, they're going to run him. All right, you better be ready to stop the run again and be ready to double Amari Cooper. Because Amari Cooper's had a game this year where he's gone crazy. Be ready to stop the run on Nick Chubb and be ready to double Amari Cooper. Okay? And double Myles Garrett because he's the one guy on Cleveland that can break the game open. All right? But we can run on Cleveland if the Chargers can run on Cleveland. All right? Jacoby Myers can step up. The Browns are horrible with fantasy receivers. Okay? So I'm expecting Jacoby Myers to step up pretty good. All right? I want to see Kendrick Bourne get some reps. Tyquan Thornton. I'm going with my Patriots 26-20 over Cleveland. This is our time to make a run. It started with Detroit. We're going to build on that. Give me New England 26-20 over the Browns. Packers and Jets. All right, so the Jets just beat Miami, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. All right, so they have really one nice win. All right. The Packers, there's no way Aaron Rodgers loses to the Jets. There's just no way. This is the perfect get-right spot for the Pack. All right. Rodgers, they're going to get this stuff right. Aaron Jones is going to feast, I think. The Packers, I think, are going to beat the Jets. I think they forced a couple turnovers on Zach Wilson. Give me 28-17 Green Bay over the Jets. All right. Jaguars and the Colts. For those of you that follow trends, every team that's played the Thursday night, the week before, outside of the Bills-Rams game, has lost the following week. All right? The Colts played last Thursday. I smell an upset again. I think Jacksonville will go into the Colts and beat them. I've been impressed with what I've seen over Jacksonville through 5 weeks as opposed to the Colts. I know the Jags looked awful the last 2 weeks, but I don't like anything the Colts have looked like through 5 weeks. Give me the Jaguars 24, the Colts 17. Vikings and the Dolphins. All right, I just got word Tua is out. Teddy Bridgewater's still in concussion protocol. He's probably not going to play either. They already said Skylar Thompson, the third-string quarterback, is going to play for Miami. Well, I think I know who I'm picking here. Give me the Vikings 30, the Miami Dolphins 20. All right, I'll say it again. Vikings 30, Dolphins 20. All right, Bengals and Saints. All right, I don't know if Jameis is going to start or if Andy Dalton's going to start. But I have my pick anyway. I'm going with the Bengals 28-23 over the Saints. I don't like anything the Saints defense has been the last 3 weeks. They've given up a lot of points. They've had one great game this whole year. The Bengals are going to struggle protecting this that Saints front four. But I think Joe Burrow, Chase, Higgins, if he's going to play, they're going to get this offense right. And I expect them to go win 28-23 in New Orleans. Ravens and the Giants. Now, I am shocked Vegas has the Ravens as a 5-point favorite on the road. I'm shocked Vegas doesn't respect the Giants. And you guys talk about me hating the Giants. As a Patriot fan, I don't like you, and I have my own issues. But I'm just saying, Vegas doesn't respect you. Okay? And before you beat the Packers, you had beaten nobody. But now you've beaten somebody. However, though, you guys can't defend the run. The Ravens love to run. So I have a big feeling Lamar Jackson's going to be due for a big game. Now, there's no way the Ravens don't lose this game. There's no way. However, I don't think they cover 5. I don't. I'm going to take Baltimore 24, the Giants 23. I think that the Giants offense, they're going to have a hard time with the Ravens defense. The Ravens secondary is a huge advantage over their receivers. Their line can't block the Giants. Okay, the Ravens have a very underrated pass rush. I'm going Baltimore 24-23 over the Giants. Bucs and the Steelers. Pittsburgh's in full rebuild mode. Kenny Pickett's got to go against another great defense. Okay, it's his Heinz Field debut. They're going to be excited. But I feel like Tampa, they have the defense. They've been able to run the ball with Fournette. I think the receivers, if they can step up, they'll be fine. The defense, I think, will get Pickett to cause some turnovers. I got Tampa Bay 27, the Steelers 13. All right? I don't think Pittsburgh is going to score a lot on Tampa's defense. Rams and the Panthers. So Steve Wilkes is now the interim coach for Matt Rule. The Rams look like shit, but the Rams are clearly better than the Panthers. If the Rams don't beat the Panthers, I feel like then I would have to then own up to the fact that maybe, just maybe, somebody might be right. But I don't see it happening. All right? Give me the Rams 31, the Panthers 9. Okay? Seahawks and Cardinals. Sneaky, underrated game of the week. Might be a guarantee for Friday's episode. We don't like the Thursday game, by the way. I'm going with Seattle. I don't get how Arizona's 3-point favorites in Seattle. They don't look impressive. Seattle's been competitive, and plus Seattle's home. All right? I just think that Seattle, they're gonna score on Arizona. I've never been sold on Arizona's defense this year. I'm going Seattle 33-27 over the Cardinals. Chiefs and Bills. Now, for rooting interest, it pains me to say this. I don't like either team. I've got my issues with both. The Bills are the kings of the division clearly right now, and I don't like rooting for a division rival unless I absolutely have to. But you Chief nauseating bandwagons, you are headaches to put up with. Between you and the Giants fans, you're all on my shit list, okay? But I will get the last laugh. I assure you, I will get the last laugh. But my buddy Yoham's watching. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills win. But Yoham, I'm sorry. I got to take the Chiefs this week. I have to. I don't want the Bills to win, but it wouldn't shock me if they win. All right? I'm going Chiefs 34-31 in another all-time classic. It might even be higher scoring than that based on how it was in January. But I'm going 34-31 Chiefs over the Bills. Cowboys and Eagles. This is going to be a great game. All right? I am going with the upset. Again, I'm riding the Cooper Rush train. I'm going Cowboys 20-17 over the Eagles. I think the Cowboys defense will be able to get some pressure on Jalen Hurts. And I think that Cooper Rush will be able to take care of the ball. And I think the Cowboys win 20-17 over the Eagles. Chargers and the Broncos. If you think I'm picking Denver to upset the Chargers in LA on Monday night, hell no. Not with that offense. They can barely move the ball. All right? The only shot they have is let Melvin Gordon cook. And I might start him in fantasy this week. I don't know. I might start him. All right? But I'm only watching this game because I want to watch the Chargers. All right? I'm going 30-17 Chargers over the Broncos. They're a better team. And Denver, putrid on offense. I ranted on them in the beginning of the show. We don't need to go down that road again. Chargers 30, Broncos 17. All right, those are my Week 6 picks, everybody. You guys could do whatever you want with them. You guys could write them down. You could, check them at the end of the week, see how I did. It's all up to you. But anyway, guys, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, so you guys can get updated on all the latest Lounge Time content that we're going to have for you this season. We've got Guarantee it's coming to Friday for college football Week 7 and NFL Week 6. Guys, thank you so much for tuning to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. I'll see you tomorrow for not tomorrow. I'll see you Friday for Guarantee It's. Until then, I'll see you next week on the next episode of Lounge Time. Have a good night, everyone.